is Friday, January 15th, 2016. This is your weekly Forex trading strategy session here at FXStreet.com. Thank you, FX Street. Thank you, moderator. So today we are planning to cover both technical and fundamental analysis. We'll go through the charts. We'll talk about what's going on in the world. I'll answer your questions. You are the boss. I am the humble currency trader. So you can also pick the currency pairs that I'm going to cover. Oh, crap. Let me get rid of this. So on and so forth, okay? Mark wants to talk about the Chinese stock market. Well, I'm not in control of that, nor is the free market, right? So, but who cares? When something's over-leveraged, it's got to be deleveraged eventually. But look, one of the things that the Chinese government enacted in August was that you're not allowed to sell. Well, some people misunderstand that. They think that means you're not allowed to short sell. No. What they mean is you're not allowed to cash out if you're an institutional investor. Why would you make an investment if there was no exit strategy? So anyways, how funny is that, right? All right, so let's just get going. Let's just dump into the technicals first. Lots of interesting things going on in the world today. Right? There's something right in the world today. I don't know what it is. Come on, loading. Come on, Bubba. I got like 10 million bajillion different things going on my computer right now. I guess maybe I should have closed some of these things. There we go. Too many things. All right. So lots of interesting things going on. 30 bucks. 29 something earlier on the oil. Pretty interesting, right? So let's see, let me use the built-in drawing tool first. Let's see how that goes. All right, wow, a little slow. Start, what color? Oh, it's yellow, nice. All right, so you can see, I don't know if it's going to let me draw. Whoa, it's not drawing. There we go. Let's do it now. Okay. Lower low, lower high, double bottom, double top. So now we're range bound. Okay. Consolidate. Test the bottom of the range breakout. Now the funny thing is you'll see that I already have some lines drawn there. We drew that before price even got down to support. In fact, I think I drew it when we were still way up here at the top of the range. Okay, anyway, so it came down, broke through support, and as you can see, the trade plan here was catch a retracement, lower low. At that point, you got to take this low, drag it across. That's your new sell zone, right? Lower low. This is the old support level, drag it across. It's your new sell zone. And then now we're consolidating right in here around the psychological level of 30 bucks a barrel. And it should be very similar to what we did over here in the consolidation, where generally you move sideways, you trap it, and you catch the breakout up, or you catch the breakout down. And ideally, you already have a bias for some of this already, so you want to trade in that direction. Hua? You know what? I'm going to use a different drawing tool, if you don't mind. But let me kill this. Boop. I think I can kill that. All right. So let me use a different drawing tool because I don't like that one. Hang on. But by the way, how are you guys doing? We're now halfway through the first month of the year. How's it going? Did 2016 start out good? Did it start out bad? How are you doing emotionally? You know, Harry says great. Richard says up and down. Did anyone listen to me in, let's say the last 3 months of 2015? We talked about the Japanese yen going to get strong in the second week of January. Even though it had been weak for, 6 months. Did anybody catch that in the previous webinars to be ready for it? I talked about how the second and third week of January is usually when I get knocked out of my portfolios. If I'm in a carry trade portfolio and I have like 100 trades open and I'm all, long anything with the Japanese yen on the right, I usually get knocked out the second or third week of January, just year after year after year after year. So the message was be ready for yen strength. So only 2 people? By the way, this is I think you can see this. So let me zoom in here. And I need to identify my zone here. And you know what? I'm going to mark this one up in case, I believe at some point we're going to come back in here. So I'll do that. Okay. What do you mean you can't see the chart? I can't see what you can see, so I don't know. Are you guys having problems with seeing the screen? It says you are sharing this monitor. Oh, no wonder so many people are, yeah, it's pretty quiet. It's the chat, not chart. All right. All right, well, I'll leave it to the host. But anyways, there's the next levels of concern. A traditional move here is let it come back and then drop it like it's hot, right? And why? Well, because if you sold here, you'd sell low, right? You're not supposed to sell low. You're supposed to sell high. Okay, so that's oil. By the way, it's just been reported, November outflows. Okay, yeah, no, forget it. I'm just reading something from the Russian Central Bank. What should we do here? Goldilocks? Let's do some Goldilocks, little Goldie. That looks like a J-Lo to me. How about you? Look how fast this trend is on the 4-hour. Oops, that didn't draw right. Let's try this again. Okay, right? It's all beautiful, right? It's all good. It's all good. Everything's good. Holy smokes! That's not supposed to be there, right? So you need to mark this as an important area, technically. But let's say it's just a daily or a weekly pullback, fine, then this should fall again if the trend is going to resume. Right? Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Now we have a double bottom. Huh? Reversal? Is it forming? What do you do in a scenario like this? you fib here to here, and if it takes the fib, it'll be significant. If it doesn't take the fib, then it's just going to come down and triple bottom. Does that make sense? There's only two things that are likely to happen in this scenario up in here. It's either going to retrace down and touch the triple bottom, which may break, but we don't know, but at least come down there. Because if it makes a lower low, it's still going to touch here. Or if it's range bound, it's going to come down and touch here. But if it's going to have liftoff, it's going to play the fib, right? So it makes a 618, and you got yourself liftoff. Boom, right? 618, pa-chow. And now, maybe, just maybe, just maybe, just maybe, just maybe, just maybe, right? Maybe roll reversal, maybe fib of this. And the plan would be long and strong. No, we got to break this high, right? But, you know, what if it did this? Okay, back to 11. New higher high. That would be very significant, technically speaking. Don't you think? Okay. Some bonehead put a 618 there. It's not quite right. I didn't quite measure this right. But anyways, you can see it, right? What kind of bonehead buys it at a 618? What a loser. All right, so anyways, that's that. I think it's interesting. I'm not really a bull on gold, but it's interesting price action as a, you know, as a technician. There are some things you just have to do, right? Sort of like the way of the warrior, right? It's just like, I don't have a choice. I'm a warrior. It's what I do. I war. I'm a trader. What do I do? Well, I'm not really a bull, but I have to buy that. Now, I'm not going to make real money unless we get a 1, 2, 3 scenario. And I don't think it's going to be that easy. I think it's going to come down and then up and, you know, maybe consolidate, but whatever. Just that's that. So with this in mind, you know, busted out to a daily chart. And, oh yeah, I forgot to mention that part. Kicking off here. It's a very dangerous little game, but, right? I actually used it as a buy zone. But anyways, it's a dangerous little game. Commodities are still coming down. And I have a key line in the sand, a key line pie, that is of significant sort of emotional importance to me. And I've been pretty clear that it makes no sense technically. Okay. Oh, Pan wants to do inflation news out of the UK. Well, what about the Polish CPI? You want to cover that? Anyone trading the zloty this morning? The Polish zloty? Okay, that's Aussie Swiss. Make sure I don't get caught up there on the Aussie Swiss. All right, so the psych level for me, or emotional level for me, was this interesting level of 7.0 or 0.70000. But besides that, this is straight down like a rocket ship, and you can see clearly I already have some plans laid out for us. Can everyone see the plan? I mean, the plan is, you know, we're on our way to 67. Yeah, Euro Aussie, but see, it's funny. I wouldn't do the Euro Aussie. It's just so It's an interesting thing, but I'm glad you made money on it. Good job. All right. So, anyways, down, is the, bird is the word, right? Down is sort of the plan here. And I think there's plenty of room for a little pullback and stuff. But commodity currencies are being punished. We still have an all-time low on the Baltic Dry Index. All-time low. So when you see things like that, you tend to sell commodity currencies. There was one glimmer of hope on Aussie earlier, and that had to do with better than expected Chinese export data. And that was a glimmer of hope, and Aussie USD was at 70. And if I go out to the daily chart, we were at 70 for a very long time, since August. 70 held, 70 held, 70 held, 70 held, right? Then we're at 75, and then retest at 70 here, and then way up, and then down, and then and now new lower low. So there was a lot of hope there, but this is a bearish trend no matter how you look at it. And I have a lot of down arrows drawn and not many up, but it was almost hopeful. It was like spotting a unicorn. You rub your eyes and look again, and you're hoping it's still there. Like 70 would be the awesomest place for this to flip and say and pick the bottom in commodities, but that strategy usually stinks. So anyways, off it goes. It's making a lower low. Too bad, so sad. Its cousin, the Kiwi, it had some bad news this week. How many people here paid attention to the U.S. Department of Agriculture's crop report? Uh-huh. You just skip all that stuff? Nah, I don't really like that. I like to pay attention to only the ADX and my MACD. Now, come on, guys. Remember, we're currency traders. We need money to move across borders. And money moves across borders a lot when new data is added because there's risk, but there's also opportunity. There are winners, there are losers. People are getting in, people are getting out. People are trying new things. And if you can get a pretty good grasp on when these, events occur, and if you get pretty good at anticipating where the money's going to go and where the money's going to come from, now you got yourself some nice currency trades. One of the things that the U.S. Department of Agriculture told us a few days ago is that they expect, a 6% decline in dairy prices in 2016? And that's your golden opportunity to sell the Kiwi dollar. So a lot of people don't know this, but the Kiwis, New Zealand, produces a lot of dairy relative to their as a percentage of GDP than I think any other country in the world. It's not just hobbits and and stuff like that. It's not sheep. Yeah, it's cows actually. Where do you see those reports come up? You just have to be brilliant, Gino. By the way, has anyone seen the movie Trading Places? Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy. It was such an important movie that it also spawned the idea of turtles and turtle traders. The idea of growing a trader came from that movie, and they used the U.S. Crop report for frozen concentrated orange juice, right? Pork bellies, right, Richard? And it's interesting because there is some trader psychology. What are they going to do on the last day of trading right before Christmas? So if you want to watch a funny movie, and a movie that every professional trader on the planet has seen, watch Trading Places. It's pretty funny actually. So anyways, they use the U.S. crop report, and you get to see what floor trading is like or was like. And that is the real Chicago Board of Trade. Or wait, was it Chicago Board of Trade? Yeah. No, they're in New York, right? NYMEX for frozen. I don't know, whatever. They're on the floor. Yeah, it's NYMEX, right? Coffee, sugar, frozen concentrated orange juice. That's all New York, isn't it? When I walked onto the Chicago Board of Trade, you walk through this door and you get into this big room. At least you think it's a big room, but it's actually the small room. There's a bigger room just around the corner. But you walk in and you're like, oh, man, I'm on the floor. I'm surrounded by traders. There's screens everywhere. People are yelling, screaming, this is awesome. And then you're like, what pit am I in? What pit? And you know what pit I was standing in? Soybean meal. Oh, my God. I'm in the soybean meal trading pit. What's soybean meal? I think it's just cattle feed, isn't it? And tofu. But it's awesome, right? And you're like, this is so awesome. And then you kind of walk around and you enter this other room, and you go from a room that's like the size of an indoor basketball court, right? Kind of thing. Suddenly you turn the corner and go into this other room, and it's the size of like a hockey rink. And you're like, whoa! Is that the S&P 500? Oh, that's awesome! Right? That's how I was anyways. Let's check that out. Is that the S&P 500? Oh, my God! Gotta go there. Let's go to the S&P 500. Right? No, that's not how you'd be. Hey, what's over there? What's over there? What's over there? Oh, well, that's where they trade 10-year T-note. 10-year T-note! I love the 10-year T-note! Yeah, no, yeah, okay, I guess that was just me, right? That's just me. So anyways, we'll load this sucker up. What's going on? Why is it taking so slow? In all seriousness, though, I was unsure about going to see these professional traders. I kind of felt out of my league a little bit going in. Like, man, I'm just a retail Forex trader. What do I know? And you know what I felt like leaving? Inspired beyond belief. Inspired beyond belief. Because I felt like I could take those guys on and beat them. Because I could see what they're doing, and I'm like, oh, snap. I could take these guys on. I know exactly what they're doing, and I can beat them. That's how I felt. I saw it with my own eyes, and I'm like, I can beat these guys. All right, so anyway, speaking about winning, here's NZ, right? Aussie, Kiwi. Kiwi losing. And when did the U.S. crop report come out? I don't know, about a week ago. And that was about down here. So we're up, 250 pips on this move. But you can see I've already tagged. What I did is I looked at the pivot profit zone. Okay, projected top of the week. And let me just mark this up in case you're unfamiliar with pivots. On Monday, which would be, oops, let me get the pen out. On Monday, we were in here. That's Monday, okay? Each week. This is last week right here. This is this week here. This is the week before, okay? And on Monday, the projected high, the conservative target was here. The aggressive target is here. And then I also look at things like psych levels, and we have a psych level, as you can see here, if you follow it across. So I took this low, and I drew a trend line, which hadn't started yet. The move hadn't happened yet. We were still in the range. But I projected it up to right in the middle of the target to the psych level. I'm sorry it went 2 pips higher. I'm sorry. Can't be perfect every day. I must have been tired. Right? And then so I'm looking at this. Okay. So the next move is down. Roll reversal. You see I already have it tagged ready to go. There's the old high. Used to be resistance. Maybe in the future it'll act like support. And you can see we've already had a bearish engulfing candle, so we kind of like 3-wave down and then expansion wave up. Okay. The cool thing is we talked about it like in here, right? On Tuesday, and here it is Friday setting up. So what's the future going to look like, ladies and germs? What's the whole point of this webinar? Right? What is the point? The point is I'm trying to teach you how to plan ahead and succeed. And make at least an extra 1,000 pips. I guess I need to say that every day, every time we get together here. My stated goal for doing these weekly webinars is to contribute at least 1,000 pips towards your success. Okay? But I'm not here, like when I do this, I'm not talking about last week, dude, because when I drew this plan, we were talking to, we were probably here, maybe. I can't even remember. It's, right? And I'm like, oh, well, we'll kick off this bottom and then we'll make a higher high. Where's the resistance going to be? And if it makes a higher high, then we got to do a 1, 2, 3 off the roll reversal. And therefore, boom. So I'm basically doing planning for 2 weeks ahead. So that's where, that's the message I'm trying to get across. We probably did this last week, maybe even last Friday. Maybe it was an NFP thing. I can't even remember when I drew this. Okay, but that was the projected move, combination of pivot points, okay, and psych levels. So we did that. The next part is, well, then it's got to retrace, kick off of the roll reversal. So what is the message here? The message is this could go down for today and maybe Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? Maybe you're doing this next week, and we're on our way to 109 to 110. Is that plausible? Okay, so the question is, how did he get to there? All right. And why not farther down, right? All right. Okay, let me get my drawing tool here. Okay, support, 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 support. Okay. This is a J-low. What's a J-low, guys? A big, wide bottom. Not fat, though, Pan. Not fat. It's only genetics, right? Yeah. So it just looks like it's rolling over. Also, remember, and I was talking about this earlier, one of my hopes, now even though it was a fallacy, one of the hopes was 0.70000 would hold on the Aussie USD, right? Okay, so if that was the case and Aussie USD started going up, what would Aussie Kiwi be likely to do? Oh, David wants to know how did I know it would go up? It's funny how you say 107,985. Well, what I say is 108. It's just a psych level, dude. You want to know why it's drawn on my chart? Aha, maybe that's what you're looking at. Okay, that's yesterday's high, or yeah, just on the time frame or whatever. But zooming in, all I did, and I did say this earlier, but let's just be clear, right? On Monday, with new pivots drawn, this red area is considered the target. There's a conservative target here. Okay? There's an aggressive target here. So somewhere in the middle is the target, or you know, it's this whole red zone is the target. Okay? In my book, I call it the pivot profit zone. Well, what do you do in a profit zone? Get into a new trade? Or do you get out of an existing trade? Is it an in zone or an out zone? Pivot profit zone. It's an out zone, which means you would have been long earlier, right? Now look at this. The week before, that's the pivot profit zone for bears. That's where you take profit. That's the projected, this line right here was the conservative bearish target for last week. Okay? Neato, huh? So anyways, so I was hoping 70 would hold on Aussie USD. Therefore, I'm looking for this to go up. Now, 70 didn't hold, but Kiwi got weak because of its numbers, right? Things like a downgrade by the U.S. Department of Agriculture for dairy prices, which means if New Zealand is in the business of selling the rest of the world dairy products, and dairy product prices are supposed to go down, that's bad for New Zealand. Okay, so anyways, so this goes up, and so I got lucky on that sense. I only got half of the equation right. But nonetheless, this is what the pivots tell me. And then I say, well, which one is it going to be? Is it going to be the conservative target or the aggressive target? Well, I never know, but I'll say, oh, well, what else is up here? Look, a psych level of 1.08. I don't care about anything like 107.98.5. Who cares about that? Just throw it in there. So you're like, yeah, right in there somewhere. And I would anticipate that that's where investors are going to take profit. Not investors, sorry, traders. That's where traders are going to take profit. Okay? Do you understand that the week earlier in here, that's where traders took profit? And this week, this is where traders took profit? Don't you just love pivot points? Don't you just love it? Don't turn your head away. Look at it. That is a fact. Projected bottom for the week. Projected top for the week. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. And so, you know, is it everything? No, of course it's not everything. You know, it would have, you know, I had a lot of assumptions in this trade plan, and some of them came true and some didn't. But now we have new technicals. Right? So like, for example, look at how my chart is drawn. I have a bottom. I have a top. That's called range, isn't it? I'm employing a range-bound strategy. And then we're at a breakout. How do you trade a breakout? Easy. Let it come back to the scene of the crime and long bomb this sucker for 109 or 1010. Right? 109, 110 or more. Whatever you want, dude. That means there's a lot of Kiwi weakness. When you have a risk-off deleveraging globally, what currencies tend to get strong? Gino wants to know pivot profit zones. They are pivot points, Gino. So they're not calculated from weekly or daily or monthly. No. They are pivot points. So if you're using daily pivot points, the pivot profit zone for a bullish trend is M4R2. But if you're weekly bull, it's M4R2. If you're a monthly bull, it's M4R2. It's just that's the pivot profit zone for bulls is M4R2. Okay. So anyways, Euro is no, Jimmy, no. The answer I'm looking for in today's world is USD Japanese yen. In a risk-off deleveraging mode, which we're in currently, okay, you want to buy Japanese yen. Why? It's not a bad question to ask. Why do these currencies get strong in deleveraging risk-off modes? Buying bonds. And they are the two most mature bond markets in the world. Nice. You want an example of deleveraging? Look at that. That's the Baltic Dry Index. This would represent global trade. Look at global trade since August. Wow, huh? That's the lowest in the history of keeping records of bulk shipping prices. Okay? So you might want to buy stock in companies that scrap ships. And I saw a documentary on how they do this in some countries. There's one place in India where they take this like tanker, right? Huge thing. It's like 10 football fields. I don't know. The thing is giant, right? It's like a mini city. It's so big. And they drive it full steam into the beach. It's amazing. There's like, full steam ahead. Aye, Captain. And they just drive it right into the beach because they're done with it anyways. They're just going to scrap it, right? Boom. They drive it right into the beach. They disembark. The captain says a few words and he leaves. And all of a sudden, like 20,000 guys with blowtorches show up. It's sort of like ants on a candy bar. Well, there you go. Look at that. That's funny. Richard typed it as I was saying it. Cool. And that's it. And in a very short order, this ship is gone. Okay, so anyways, the reason I'm showing this is I actually wanted to go to, let's do 10-year Treasury note, T-note, 10-year T-notes. That's funny, 10-year T-notes. I didn't type that in, did I? How funny. January 12th, 2015 or 16? I guess it's 16. All right, so that's pretty close, right? Look at that. What is this? What does this represent? Oh, yeah, decline. Not really, actually. This represents people buying bonds because this is the yield on the 10-year Treasury, 10-year T-note. So if interest rates are falling because of the inverse relationship between price and yield, if yield is falling, price is rising. So how do you, using supply and demand, how do you get prices to go up? Hold back supply. Yeah, but it's not generally a supply issue now. What is it? It's a demand issue. What's going on with demand? It's huge, guys. How do you get prices up? Someone said poor. How do you get prices up? When nobody's buying? What happens when nobody buys? Prices come down when no one's buying. And the opposite of prices going down would be yield going up. And if yield's going up, what they're saying is, look, I need to borrow money. And they're like, I ain't going to lend you no money. I'm like, oh, man, come on. I just need it till payday. You don't pay me back. I ain't going to lend you nothing. Well, what if I pay you 3% interest? Oh, well, at 3% interest? Okay, maybe. Right? I mean, that's how the world works. So in this case, the opposite is happening. Interest rates are falling because there's so many people lined up to lend money. They're looking for safe investments that you don't even have to pay a high yield. Prices are rising because people are buying. It's like an auction. There's lots of people trying to get into the 10-year T-note market. They're bidding up prices, and when price rises, yield falls. Inverse relationship between price and yield. So, well, what does a bond market look like when prices are going up? Well, if you're a foreigner, you're going to need US dollars, for example, to buy US treasuries. And that's when you get a strong dollar. Wow, the webinar is having problems big time with this. Can you guys still see? I might have to reset. Yeah, no, I still see the window even though I don't have it there. Wow, weird. I'm going to have to probably stop broadcasting. No, if I do stop sharing. How do I do this? Share my screen. Look at that, huh? Share my screen. Which one? Yeah, no, it's frozen for me. Life is a mystery. Yeah, my screen's frozen. If I stop sharing, Richard says log on the web. I don't know. Hey, moderator. Yeah, but nothing's moderator. If I hit stop sharing, does it end the webinar? All right, I'm going to have to hit stop sharing. Hang on, guys. No, it's still frozen. Come on, webinar. Let's see. I'm going to start killing applications. Hang on. You sure you want to delete this? Yes. Still frozen.